Rulers usually die in epic fashion. On the battlefield, sword in hand, delivering legendary last words.
Nope. Stop right there. Today we're talking about how not to die if you're a king. Because sometimes history turns into a comedy, so dark that even chroniclers wrote it down with tears in their eyes from laughing. By the way, my minstrels got smacked for playing too loud in last video. Now they play quieter. I am KnightCaster, and today we've got the top 5 royal fails of all time. 5th place, 1387, Navarre. Meet Charles II, nicknamed the Bat. Why the Bat? Because this guy poisoned enemies, betrayed allies, and bought indulgences like it was Black Friday. A typical medieval politician, just more honest about it. Seriously, this guy managed to betray the French to the English to the French, and when he ran out of options, he started betraying himself. Even the Pope at some point said, "That too much, brother." But age caught up with him. Legs failed, eczema kicked in. Typical royal problems. Too much throne time, not enough walking, and way too much political stress. So a doctor shows up and says, "I got it, alcohol bandages." Yep, medieval medicine meant wrap the king in booze socket rags. In the 14th century, doctors genuinely believed alcohol could cure everything, from the plague to royal problems. The logic was simple. If it's hurt on the outside, rub it with alcohol. If it's hurt on the inside, drink alcohol. A universal remedy, just like your father does. And late at night, the servant finishes the procedure. All that's left is to seal the edges. Makes sense to grab a candle and, wait for it, light the king soaked in alcohol on fire. Charles lit up like cocktails at the club. The servant panics, the guard panic, everyone panics, and the king become a human torch in 3 seconds. That was recorded by Jean Froissart, who witnessed many royal disasters in his time. And you know what's the funniest part? Charles spent his whole life poisoning others, and in the end it was his own treatment that killed him. Irony worthy of the Divine Comedy, except it actually happened. 4th place, France, late 15th century, Charles VIII, a king who took the throne at just 13. He dreamed of military glory, invaded Italy, captures Naples, but couldn't hold it. He returned home, no victories, but plenty of experience. And as it turned out, not for long. On the 7th of April, 1498, Charles was heading to the castle gallery to watch a game. Just another day at court. The game was jeu de paume, the ancestor of modern tennis. It was played indoor using hands or wooden paddles to bounce the ball off the wall. He walked through a narrow passage in the castle and doesn't notice the low stone arch. Hitting his head hard on the lintel, at first it seems harmless. He keeps walking and even talks to courtiers, but a few minutes later he suddenly faints and falls to the ground. He is carried to his chambers. He never wakes up, and late that evening he dies. He was 27 years old. Contemporaries link his death to the blow. Modern doctors suggest it might have been a hematoma or a stroke, but there is no definitive diagnosis. No autopsy was ever performed. He became the only French king to be born and die in the same castle, Amboise, and with his death the direct Valois line came to an end. The moral? Low doorways spare no one, not even those on the top. If you ever smacked your head on a door frame, hit that like button. Let's see how many of us are out there. 3rd place, 6th century, BCE, China, state of Jin, Duke Zhuang. Hardcore ruler, feared and respected, old school Chinese tyrant. Everything was fine until he had a nightmare. A dark figure says, "You die before the wheat is harvested." By the way, in ancient China, dreams were taken very seriously. It wasn't just, "Oh, I have a bad dream." It was seen as a direct message from the spirits of your ancestors. And if you have a bad dream, brace yourself, trouble is coming, and this one, way too specific. He wakes up, runs to the shaman, who knows, boss, that dreams bad omen, watch out. The shaman Ziwei wasn't just some fortune teller from the marketplace. He was the court's top sage, a strategist and philosopher. If he said, this is bad, then you could bet it really was bad. But the Duke decided to play it safe anyway. For 6 whole months, the Duke lived like he was under siege. His food was tested for poison, his water too, and every guest was searched. Even his wife couldn't approach without security clearance. But time passed, the wheat ripened, and he was still breathing. And then the Duke made the classic tyrant mistake. He kills the one who displeased him. The whole court is in shock. They just executed the wisest man in the entry state. And what the lesson here? Never give bad prediction to your boss. Few days later, nausea, weakness, he sent the guard away and heads to the toilet. In ancient China, that's a plank over a pit, no railings, no light. He slips, fall into his own, yeah, you get it. It's written in the Zhuang China's main historical chronicle. Totally real. And yeah, condolences to the poor soul who had to pull him out. Moral, don't kill prophets. But we're not done with dump yet. Second place, 1190, Frederick Barbarossa, absolute legend, emperor who shaped Europe with iron hands. He crushed popes, took Milan, made Italy tremble. Barbarossa was a living nightmare for his enemies. 6 crusades, wars against the popes, the conquest of Italy. When his army showed up on the horizon, his enemies skipped the fight and went straight to negotiations. The man lived his life like an epic movie. At 60 plus, still a wrecking machine. When the Pope called for the Third Crusade, Frederick didn't just join, he led it, 100,000 men. The Byzantines nearly pooped themselves seeing that army. Can you imagine the scale? 100,000 warriors, that's an entry city on the move. Blacksmith, cooks, priests, supply wagons. When an army like that marches, you can see it from miles away by the dust kicked up from thousands of feet. All was perfect until they reached the Salef River. Just a mountain stream, not the Amazon, not even the Volga. And Barbarossa think, I conquered half of Europe, this battle won't stop me. He jumped in to lead the way. I'm not old, I go first, and then sleep. Here comes the tragic comedy. The greatest warrior in Europe, a living legend, sleeps on a wet rock. The heavy armor that saved him in dozens of battles turned into a deadly weight. The steel that once shielded him from swords and arrows now dragged him down into the icy mountain water. His army falls apart. Crusade failed because of slippery rocks. Germans still believe he sleeps in a mountain, waiting to save the Reich. If he wakes, someone get him a bridge. First place, Hungary, 1063, King Béla I. Strong ruler, skilled warrior, and a man with a dramatic exit. Béla had just returned to power after civil war. To show authority, he held a grand ceremony with nobles, banners, and of course, the royal throne. After civil war in Hungary, everything was on shaky ground. It was crucial to show that the crown was stable, the king was strong, and order had been restored. So the coronation was planned to be grand, everything had to be perfect. According to the Gesta Hungarorum, Béla approached a symbolic throne prepared for the event and sat down. There's the problem with flashy ceremonies, they're often rushed. The throne was made quickly. Look at royal? Sure, but sturdy? Not so much. Picture it, solemn silence, the king takes his seat on the throne, everyone awaits his speech and throne collapses like a house of cards. The guests are horrified. Béla is on the floor with a spinal injury and the royal carpenter is already halfway to the border. Historians today consider this story plausible, those debated. Some suggest it might be a symbolic or exaggerated. But Gesta Hungarorum records it plainly. The throne crushed the king. So yeah, sometimes the seat of power literally kills. History isn't just about glory and battles, sometimes it's about tripping over furniture. If you like this video, like, subscribe and tell me, which royal death was the dumbest? Got more absurd true stories? Drop them in the comment. I am KnightCaster. Don't die dumb. See you in the next video.